ladies and gentlemen, to the FNL Footy Show for another week. Great to have you back once again as we discuss all of the happenings in the Ballarat Football Netball League. Sean Kelly's my name. Joining me as always, my co-host Liam Brady. Brades, great to have you back, mate.
Thanks, Sean. Good to be here, mate. Looking forward to talking about last weekend, mate, and some big matches coming up this weekend.
Yeah, there certainly is. Talking of last weekend, our first talking point is the Ballarat Football Club. They've been a talking point over the last few weeks for all of the wrong reasons. This week it's for the right reasons. They're back on the winners list. They knocked off a pretty good team in North City, and all of a sudden they're just knocking on the door of the top 8 once again.
They are, mate, and we spoke
top
about
6 even, sorry.
We spoke about this time last week, how important their game was on the weekend. They had to win. I think if they did win, it was probably nearly season over.
Yep.
It may not have been as drastic as that, but it was a must-win game, and they were certainly challenged throughout the game. They managed to get on top in the last quarter and have a really good victory. Just looking at their situation at the moment, they sit 8th on the ladder, 2 wins, but their percentage is really healthy. Their percentage is 96%, so it shows that they've been quite competitive in games, but haven't been able to get over the line. I think they'll make the 6 now. They've got a reasonable run over the next month.
Yep.
I think if they can string 3 or 4 wins in the next 5 games, they'll be thereabouts. And who knows? We know that they played their best football last year at the right time of year. There's no point playing your best football at the moment.
Correct.
They played their best football in late August, early September last year, and that's obviously what helped them win the premiership, so certainly don't write them off yet.
Yeah, definitely right. Speaking of the ladder, how close is it at the moment? As we look at talking point number 2, the ladder's up on the screen at the moment, and just check out how close that is. Darley are in 8th, Ballarat are in 9th, and only 3 games separate those and the undefeated Lake Wendouree at the top of the ladder. There is going to be some jostling for final spots going along, and even Sebastopol, only a game outside the top 6.
Yeah, and look Redan in uncharted waters at the moment, sitting outside the 6. So
and Darley as well.
So I think both those teams will make the finals.
But who do they take out?
Well, it's good to see sides like Melton up there. Look, I might be proven incorrect, and they actually may miss out, and we actually might be underestimating some of those sides in at the moment. We know the back of Smash have been one of the stories of the season so far. They sit 5 wins and 1 loss at the moment. Sit in second position, and obviously Melton, who are 3 and 2, they sit in 4th position. So it's really even, as you said. Look, Lake Wendouree are certainly the standout side at the moment. They're the team to beat.
Yeah.
But I just think that as the season goes on, we'll see some more interesting results, and I wouldn't be surprised if that top 6 changes a fair bit between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, and you could see 2 rounds ago, North Ballarat City undefeated, sitting on top of the ladder, absolutely flying. Now they've lost 2 games, they've fallen as far as 5th. So still plenty going on in that ladder space at the moment. And one of the teams that is responsible for that ladder shuffle up is the Sunbury Footy Club. Talking point number 3 this week was the game here at the City Oval last weekend between Redan and Sunbury, and Sunbury are deserving of some love because they came down on the weekend, they travelled down the highway, they took on a good side, and they rolled them pretty convincingly. Sunbury, are they the real deal?
Yeah, look, I think they are. Look, I saw, I've seen them play a couple of times this year, and I think that under Rick Horwood, they're playing some good football. They've got some handy recruits into the side this year as well. I think on the weekend, Redan did have a few players out. I think once Redan get those players back, they'll be fairly competitive. But as I said before, it's good to see.
Only beat who the opposition puts out on the field for you.
That's exactly right. I think just see sides like Sunbury and back of Smash right up there at the moment is really healthy. We know that Sunbury won a premiership a couple of years ago, and then lost a few players after that premiership. They've played some young kids the last couple of years.
Yep.
They've managed to recruit a few experienced players. Is it Mangan?
Alec Magan.
Alec Magan. He's been a fantastic acquisition to the side.
He's in great form at the moment too.
Best on ground on the weekend. So, look, I think they're a genuine premiership contender at this stage of the year.
Yeah, they're going along very nicely, our Sunbury, at the moment. Sitting in 3rd spot, but equal on points with Bacchus Marsh in 2nd. And this weekend could sort that out. They could potentially go into 2nd spot for themselves. Looking at this weekend, Liam, round 7 in the Ballarat Football Netball League. Just the 4 games this weekend. The Darley Melton South game that was the season opener was scheduled to be played on this weekend, but of course that was brought forward to the start of the season. And East Point with the bye this weekend as well. And the first game we'll look at is probably the game of the round this weekend at Mattingley Park. 2nd place, Bacchus Marsh. 1st place, Lake Wendouree. The Lakers' undefeated streak on the line at a ground that a lot of other teams have struggled to be competitive at this year.
Yeah, look, if this game was at Wendouree, you'd have to tip Lake Wendouree, but just the fact that it's down the highway at Mattingley Park, and look, Bacchus Marsh's record at home so far this year has been unbelievable. I think they can win this game at home. Lake Wendouree last week, their first quarter really disappointing.
Yep.
Although taking nothing away from Sebastian, I thought Sebastian played really well early on. But certainly after half time, Lake Wendouree played some really good football. Nathan Pring was really good around goals. Andrew Pitson continued his pretty good form with 4 goals.
Both blokes, Pring in particular, that was really, really good during the interleague game as well. Yep. And just continued on that form.
Yeah, so they've got some good players in form, but I think Backer Smash have enough credits in the bank at home this year to obviously tip them with a bit of confidence. So I'm tipping Backer Smash, and I think Lake Wendouree may have their first loss for the season.
Backer Smash win this game. Not only does it solidify them as a finals contender, but you start to think that maybe they might be there deep into September.
Definitely. I think that at the moment they're sitting second on the ladder, only lost 1 game for the year, so there's no reason to think why they wouldn't finish in the top 2 or 3 at the moment.
Exactly right.
A win on the weekend will certainly cement their spot inside the top 3.
Yeah, it certainly will indeed. Ballarat taking on Redan at the Alfredton Oval this weekend. Swanee's back in action after a couple of weeks' rest, having the double bye with the interleague break and then the bye last weekend. Taking on a Redan side that'll be hoping to get some players back in. Obviously fairly hit with injuries last week after the interleague round against Sunbury, and they'll be hoping to get a few players in because Ballarat aren't a lay-down misère victory for Redan either. They'll have to work hard in this one to get over the line at Alfredton Oval.
I think it's a massive danger game for Redan, this one. Look, Ballarat have shown they can play some pretty good footy at home. We take our minds back 3 or 4 weeks ago when they had a really good win over East Point at home. And I think with a young side coming off a week off, they'll be fresh.
2 weeks off, so they'll be really fresh.
2 weeks ready to go, and I think they can possibly cause an upset here. A big game for Redan. They sit at 3-3 at the moment.
Yeah.
They wouldn't want to fall behind the ledger at 3-4, so big danger game. I think Redan just may have a fraction too much class, but I reckon Ballarat will certainly take it right up to them and it'll be pretty close. Redan will be hoping for a few of their senior players to come back into the side.
Yeah, definitely one to keep an eye on this weekend, as is the game at Eureka Stadium on Saturday between North Ballarat City and Melton. Another team, Melton, that have really performed well this year and probably exceeded a few expectations. But they'll get a test this week at Eureka Stadium against the North Ballarat City side that are pretty good, but will also be stinging after dropping their last couple.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting game because Melton probably come into this game with better form than what North City do, but
they'll probably enjoy the space at Eureka Stadium too.
Yeah, we know how well North City do play at home. They know the ground really well. Obviously, it's a new ground in terms of dimension wise, but they seem to play pretty good footy there. And I think just the fact that it's home and North are probably coming off a couple of flat weeks. They'll bounce back and have a win. I don't think it'll be a big margin, but Brad Murphy will be pretty keen to travel up the highway and put in a really competitive performance with his boys.
And that's, I suppose, been the problem for Melton when they've come to Ballarat. They haven't been that competitive performance in the last couple of years. Brad wants the respect. You win this game, you get your respect. Yeah,
it's an intriguing game. I think those first 3 games I've spoken about are all very significant in the context of individual seasons, but also the ladder as well. So interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Last game for the weekend, Sunbury taking on Sebastopol at the Clark Oval. You'd think Sunbury would start favourites in this one, but Sebastopol going okay at the moment, and Michael Powell probably seen play reserves footy this week if he gets through training, so he could come back in the next couple of weeks and make a bit of a difference to the Sebastopol side.
Yeah, that's right. Look, Rick Hall and the coaching staff will be delighted with the way Sunbury are going at the moment. They've obviously played some really good footy. They had a really good win of the weekend over Redan, so it's certainly a really tough assignment for Sebastopol to travel down the highway and get the points. I thought their first quarter last week against Lake Wendouree was really good, really encouraging, but I think they'll be up against an informed Sunbury side.
Yeah, going very nicely at the moment. Art Sunbury, and they'll win this weekend. That's all the time we've got this week for the BFNL Footy Show. Liam, thanks for joining us once again this week, mate. Footy, of course, next weekend on the Queen's birthday weekend, so we'll be back here next week to bring it all to you.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Shaun. Looking forward to a big weekend of footy and netball action, mate.
Yeah, it's going to be another big weekend in the Red Onion Creative Ballarat Football Netball League. It's all the time we've got for this week. Thanks for joining us on the BFNL Footy Show. Thanks to McDonald's Ballarat and Ballarat Toyota. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye for now.
Boy Dodger.